Don't worry if you're new, I'll explain everything in simple terms, step by step, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set it up, when to enter a trade, and how to manage your risk the smart way. So, here's how this strategy works. It uses just two moving averages, the 9 EMA, which we call the fast line, and the 21 EMA, which is the slow line. The golden rule is simple. When the fast line EMA 9 crosses above the slow line EMA 21 and the candle closes bullish, that's your buy signal. When the fast line EMA 9 crosses below the slow line EMA 21 and the candle closes bearish, that's your sell signal. Easy, right? This keeps things very clear and avoids guesswork. For this strategy, I personally use a 15-second candle time frame and a 1-minute expiry. That means each trade is quick, but still has enough confirmation to filter out noise. This setup is fast, exciting, and works really well once you learn to spot the right trends. But here's something important. This crossover strategy is designed for trending markets. So if the chart is moving sideways or ranging, please avoid trading. In sideways markets, signals can get very confusing and you'll end up overtrading. Now, before we jump into live trades, let's talk about something most traders ignore, but is actually more important than the strategy itself: risk management. Binary options can be tricky and sometimes manipulative. That's why I always recommend risk only 1 to 2% of your balance per trade. Just 4 to 5 good setups in one session are more than enough. You don't need 20 trades a day to grow your account. And my personal rule, if you lose 2 trades back-to-back, simply stop trading. Take a 30-minute break, clear your head, and then come back fresh. Believe me, this one habit alone will save you from so many losses. Because in the long run, smart money management is the real secret to success. And of course, a quick disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Trading is risky, and results will always vary from person to person. Please don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Alright, so now that you know the rules, risk management, and you've got the free checklist, let's jump onto the charts together and see how this EMA crossover strategy works in real live trading. Stick with me till the end, because I'll also share some extra pro tips while we take the trades live. Alright traders, here's a live example. Notice what's happening right here. The EMA 9 has crossed below the EMA 21. Not only that, but this candle has also closed bearish, giving us a clear sell signal based on our rules. So I've entered a sell trade with a 1-minute expiry. Remember, this is exactly the kind of setup we wait for. EMA crossover confirmation plus a bearish candle close. Now, as the trade is running, notice how the candles are forming. We're still below both EMAs, which means the trend is supporting our decision. This is where patience is key. Don't panic if you see small pullbacks. That's completely normal. What matters is that the overall price action is still respecting the downward direction. Also, this is a good time to remind you, always stick to your risk management rules. I've entered this trade with a small portion of my balance, just like I recommend, 1 to 2% per trade maximum. This keeps your account safe even if a trade goes against you. And there we go. The trade has closed, and this one finished in profit. Alright traders, here's a great example of a buy setup. We're looking at the chart and notice how the EMA 9, orange line, has just crossed above the EMA 21, white line. At the same time, the candle has closed bullish, confirming our entry signal. So I've placed a buy trade here with a 1-minute expiry. This is exactly the kind of clear confirmation we want before entering. A crossover plus a bullish candle close. Now, as the trade is running, you can see the candles continuing to push upwards. This shows us that the trend is supporting our decision. Of course, you'll notice some candles move slightly against us, and that's normal. Markets never move in a straight line. What matters is that the overall momentum is bullish, and the EMAs are spreading apart, which adds strength to the signal. And there we go. The trade has closed, and this one finished in profit. Alright traders, let's look at this live setup. Right here, you can clearly see the EMA 9 has crossed below the EMA 21. At the same time, the candle closed bearish, which gives us a very clear sell signal according to our rules. So I've entered a sell trade with a 1-minute expiry. This is exactly the type of setup we wait for. Confirmation from both the crossover and the candle close. Now, as the trade is progressing, notice how the price continues to move lower. The bearish momentum is strong, and the EMAs are spreading apart, which gives extra confirmation that the trend is on our side. Of course, no trade is ever guaranteed. Sometimes you'll see small retracements, and that's completely normal. The key is sticking to your rules and not panicking mid-trade. And here we go. The trade is closed, and this one finished in profit. Before we wrap up, let me quickly show you the exact settings for this strategy so you can set it up on your own chart. First, we add a moving average and set the period to 9. Make sure you select EMA from the drop-down. This will be our fast moving average, and I usually set its color to something bright, like orange, so it's easy to spot. Next, we add another moving average, but this time we set the period to 21, and again choose EMA. This becomes our slow moving average, and I usually keep it in white, so we can clearly see when the two lines cross. And that's it. EMA 9 and EMA 21 are the only two indicators you need for this crossover strategy. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of the EMA crossover strategy.